Here is how I find tons and tons and tons of music in different languages, whether it be a tiny little language like Catalan, which only has around 10 million speakers, or a freaking monstrosity like English, which has around 2 billion speakers. I looked that up, it's crazy. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and today we're going to be talking about one of my favorite topics, how to learn languages with music. I think that music is such a great medium through which one can learn a language because you learn vocabulary, you learn about the culture, and you already have a topic of conversation for when you meet a native speaker. So guys, I'm just going to show you in this video how I find tons of music in different languages and how I implement that music into my language learning routine. I also made something for you guys, kind of like a little gift. That is going to save you a ton of time in terms of what I'm talking about here. And if you want to find out what it is, just watch the video. So I think that one of the first things that we have to talk about is why it is incredibly useful to use music to learn languages. And the reason is because they help you with words, with pronunciation, and with learning the rhythm of the language. The first thing that music is going to help you immensely with is vocabulary acquisition. And the reason for this is very simple and pretty logical actually, is because you will be like, if you genuinely choose a song that you will listen to many times after the first time you listen to it, the probably good thing for you to do would be to translate it, and then after you get that translation and basically just read the story. Like for example, if you translate a famous song like Umbrella, it's about a girl who's standing in the rain and she's saying that her man is her umbrella, like her shelter, the person that takes care of her in a rainy day. You will be able to understand that in Spanish, and that, just like seeing that in your native language, will seal the story in your mind. And we talked about how stories are much more memorable than just like simple words. So the fact that you already have the story solidified in your mind means that next time that you hear the song, even if you don't understand every single word, you will basically understand the message, and you will start pairing the meaning of the word, the actual meaning that you understand in Spanish or in your native language, with the word or the sound in a foreign tongue. So I think that is the goal, and that will help you a ton, because by repeating the song over and over and over again, that will become more and more solidified. And what I would suggest is for you to look over the translation at least 2 or 3 times. It really doesn't take that much to memorize a song and to like understand which words pair to which words in your native language. So that is going to be incredibly helpful for you. Another thing that music can help us a lot with is to understand the rhythm of the language and to better pronounce words. So I'm just going to give you a little example. I am a native Spanish speaker and I was learning French at the time, and I would listen to a lot of French songs, but for the most part I didn't really understand what they were saying, because when a native speaker speaks, they don't actually exaggerate what they're saying. They generally speak like very mumbly, kind of like you can barely understand the words, or you can barely understand the pauses between the words, like the spaces between the words. And the reason it's so difficult to understand is because native speakers generally speak way faster than a professor, way faster than a teacher, and they don't tend to vocalize. And it's fine, I mean, it's just like the way that language is spoken. But in terms of music, you will see outside of the classroom setting how a native speaker will actually interact in their own language. They're not going to speak very exaggeratedly because their public is basically native speakers. So what I'm trying to get at this is that, for example, in Spanish, words are very demarcated. We say it's like tan, 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 tan. And when I was learning French, I would say like je t'aime, but it's not je t'aime, it's je t'aime. So they like put everything kind of like very shortened, and it's the same way in English. So with that, you will learn a lot about the rhythm of the language, and you will kind of like understand the sounds a little bit more, or like how the sounds are realistically pronounced. So on to the second part of the video, and here is how I find tons and tons and tons of music in different languages, whether it be a tiny little language like Catalan, which only has around 10 million speakers, or a freaking monstrosity like English, which has around 2 billion speakers. I looked that up, it's crazy. But yeah, so basically how I find so much music in different languages. And obviously people can do this organically by asking their friends or listening to a song in a movie and then looking it up. But the way I do it is a little bit more artificial in the sense that I purposely look out different songs to add to my playlists. And the way I do this is that I just go on YouTube and I basically type like what I want to hear, like best funk music or playlist of best funk music, and then you get a full-on playlist of everything that was at the top of the charts, and you can obviously add that to your Spotify. So this is where my little gives comes into play, because I am basically going to give you a link to all my playlists. So of course these playlists are made with language learning in mind, so I chose songs that were very heavy on lyrics and that had not only like a ton of words but also that were like good quality lyrics. I also tried to include a lot of genres because I know a lot of people are not going to like the same thing. They are organized by language, and of course you guys can leave me a comment on your favorite songs from your native language or other languages that you know. It will be super useful for me to hear them and include them because I want to learn as much as possible. And to tell you the truth, I don't have a favorite genre. I think that I enjoy a lot of different music. Actually, I think it is really fun and it is part of the cultural component to start getting used to different rhythms, because I feel like each language has, obviously, I mean, like they all have like all the different genres. From you can find like jazzy Portuguese songs and I don't know, like metal in Spanish. But at the same time, I think that each language has its own little vibe, and I think it's so great to explore that rabbit hole. Like for example, I absolutely love German rap. I think it's the best. I think it's just like so perfect. But I also like other things. I like reggaeton and I like tango and flamenco. So I think that is so wonderful to just like start absorbing those cultural components from a tool that you have at hand. So for the third part of the video, I'm just going to be giving you a little rant of how I personally integrate music into my language learning routine. I generally just translate the song once, like I look over the translation to English, say that I'm learning a song from German and I just translate it to English. I just read over the translation and then that's about it. I think that songs are so memorable because, as I said in the beginning, they tell a story that is not really necessary for me to read over it once or twice, especially and particularly if I am already acquainted with the language. However, as I said in a previous video, this is basically the cherry on the cake. I use it just as supplemental practice. This is not the core of my practice. I can link the video where I basically summarize everything that I do to create my core practice. But this is just basically the thing that gets me moving, makes me more interested in the culture, probably opens doors to different cultures if I listen to a song in a different language that I don't know or that I'm not learning. So yeah, I think that music is just such a great way to connect with all the languages in the world. I am passionate about music. I think that is just so beautiful, and to be honest with you, to listen to the different rhythms is just so refreshing. So I hope that you guys have enjoyed this video. Please check my playlist and give me recommendations. I am open for any kind of music, I promise you. I'm not very picky. But yeah, I just think that songs with great lyrics are personally my favorite. But yeah, leave your suggestions down below, not only for me, but for everybody else who enjoys music. And I will see you next time, guys. Bye.